I mean, the thing is this. The thing is this, guys. I'm imperfect. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be a confusing statement to any of you. But that's super important to remember. To model Christ in our lives, right? Because that's like what we're supposed to do. Like, I'm gonna do my best to show you as best as I possibly can. Like, what does it look like to love your wife? You else have another question? Welcome back, everybody that I just missed. Anybody else have an interesting question about what we read? Chapter 1 talked about.
I have a question. It really stuck out with me. Last week when you talked about serving others, I think oftentimes we say, oh, I'm gonna serve. But sometimes it's a
idea of hey guys, we need to serve has this connotation of like doing things. We're just doing things. But we're not really doing anything for people, right? We eliminate the person out of the element, right? So hey, y'all need to serve here. And or
very task oriented, do this.
It's not.
No, it's just people. And I think you said that on Saturday too.
Conversations that I have in my car on the way to jobs, intentional with, spend time, right? You're young, right? And you think that, Joe, I don't have money. All I have is my time. When you get older, you realize that time was always the greater gift. Time was always the greater gift. And it's interesting that Paul would take so much time to get to that point, then encourage us to do these things in light of what Jesus did. Right? Because if you understand, Jesus died on the cross for a few hours, but he lived his life for far longer. Right? We understand that he was about maybe 33 years old when he died, maybe even a little older. But on the cross, dying, resurrecting, it's we're to look out. He influences us. His life influences us to look out and say, how am I going to love people? And I remember being a kid hearing that and saying, dog, that sounds like a lot of people love. That's how you have to care for, to be compassionate, to serve. What's their name? Think about it. Say their name in your head. That's the person you're supposed to invite to the church, to sit next to you, to have a great time here. Bro, come on. We play basketball here. Girl, come on. We hang out. We talk. I want you to meet some of my friends. This is a great place to be. We love it here. I think you love it too. When we say the world, it's you get all caught up in gotta go to Africa again. Here we go back to doing a mission trip far, far away. No, dude. If you never did a mission trip in your life and all you did was just one after another, every time you saw someone in need, you said, hey man, let's link up afterward. Hey, if you ever need anyone to talk to, here's my number. Text me, call me anytime. When's the last time you've done that? Joe, but I'm not the youth pastor. I said, so what, bro? So what? You know how many people don't want to talk to me, man? Most of the people that feel good talking to you don't want to talk to me. That's just a fact. Bro, I'm 30 years old. I'm a student pastor, right?
It's good.
Cold?
Yeah. He had to fix the
Yeah, he told me. But is it cold?
Only one side's working though. The other one is the other AC.
Yeah, I knew that. Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
You gotta pay him.
Yeah, he's waiting for me to pay him? Oh, he's not?
Yeah.
He's waiting?
He said, I'm waiting down here for him.
Oh, okay. Well, he has to wait. I told him I was be done. Big thing is that, right? So that's how 12, 13, 14 finish out this idea of service, kindness, compassion, loving one another. What about the first 10, 11 chapters? Chapter 1, chapter 3. What stood out to you in those chapters? I think it was you who put a post in 5:8, right? While you were still sinners, Christ died. Or was it?
I wrote this. So before it, okay, so I'm just gonna read the verse and then I'm gonna say the context, like a little text I provide for you. This is Romans 3:10-18. I said, as the scriptures say, no one is righteous, not even one. No one is truly wise. No one is seeking God. All have turned away. All have become useless. No one does good God at all. I said, and then to that, I said, all people are sinners, even those who claim to be righteous and claim to be following God.
Yeah. And even those that claim right, I think this is important. Like, I'm a sinner. Like 3:10 describes you and me. In a sense, before Christ, in a sense that as we are right now. Are you the kind of person that carries yourself as if you never do anything wrong? Are you the kind of person that dismisses your wrongdoing and highlights, accentuates the wrongdoings of others? Are you quick to be critical with one for the same thing that you have done, that you hoped, maybe even expected mercy and grace? There's a parable in the New Testament that gets to the heart of this. It's a man who owes a lot of money, many years worth of money to this king figure, this manager figure. And the manager king said, well, you have till this cancel. Don't worry. Your family and you will not be slaves. And he leaves that place. The manager that was owed a great debt hears of this injustice, okay, and says to him, because what you've done, you owe me everything, and your children, your family will be slaves. So Jesus concludes with this by saying, like, you know, if you don't forgive others, Christ doesn't forgive the debts that other people have with us. So when we have grudges, lack of forgiveness, animosity, hatred, bickering, tension, that never gets resolved, that never gets forgiven, that never gets pardoned, it's like if we're looking at what Christ did while we were sinners and say, hey, thanks for that, but I operate by different rules. Like, you have a justice and a mercy, I have a justice and a mercy. And I'm not giving mercy, only justice. And it's crazy because we will let our feelings dictate the truth of the situation. We will let, man, that has happened on your watch. When you've been disrespectful, you've been inconsiderate. What happens, whether if now you've never done it to anyone individually, which is probably not the case, but like, how have we treated God who deserves our, you read like, oh, Jesus, while I was a sinner, he died for me. Jesus, while I was a sinner, died for me. And I was sinning in the world, did not care about who I was offending, who I was hurting. Christ died for me. Christ died for me. But you know what? Forget them, bro. I don't care about them. I'm not going to forgive it, bro. I'll just put them out of my life. Like, I'm not going to try to reconcile. I'm not going to try to listen to him. Should matter when we're making these decisions. Like, I think it's Philippians chapter 2. It says, being in the same heart as Christ, his mind as Christ, who did not consider it equality to God to be something grasped, but rather he made himself low, became a servant and a sacrifice. Like, how should we then live if Christ did this for us? Does that make sense? You cannot have those encounters. Maybe some of you do. And what about me, Joe? Like, yeah, this is easy. This is easy to tell somebody who needs to forgive someone for a petty little thing. But what about, listen, man, this person when I was a little kid, a little girl, a little boy, they did this to me. Or they let this happen. Or they failed to do this. What about that? Like, this wrecked my life, man. You have no idea. I've never told anybody, but this lives inside of me every day. What about that? And for you, I tell you this, that forgiveness is not only for the person, forgiveness is for you too. Forgiveness is declaring in an act that Jesus can heal even what people cannot ask for forgiveness for. By letting someone go from what they've done wrong, you put your faith in Jesus and you say, Jesus, I know you will see me where I am. This debt owed to me because of sin that only Christ can fix. A hole in my, like one or two more, and then I'll let y'all go early. Or not early, but it's like on time, relative. What is another thing that we said? This was solid.
How even how the law is supposed to be good, the sin is bad. Right.
Yeah. So I think about
I was gonna say, yeah. I was just looking at that in chapter 3, verse 21 it says, "But now God has shown us a way to be made right with Him without keeping the requirements of the law, as was promised in the writings of Moses and the prophets on Himself."
Yeah. And he's like, hey, I didn't invent this. This is old. Been talking about this for thousands of years. I watch my daughter do things like that where she'll try to. There's only one way that this happens, and so like I can give you this key ring, and I can tell you to go turn on. I can tell you to go turn on the car. But like all of these are house keys and like regular door keys. You could try. Like I could try to get across, bro. You're not gonna get past it. Right, but like and so that's how sin and the law works, right? Like you're gonna fall shorter, or you're gonna fall faster if you try to get across life on the other side by sinning. But you're gonna get maybe 3 or 4 feet further. We're trying to live out the law. Like the only one that gives you wings, bro, is the gospel. That's the only one that's gonna give you the impossibility, right? The impossibility of being saved is through grace, and earthly life, emotional aspect of it. It's important, right? Because as a Christian, you're going to feel guilty when you sin. But the idea of closer to God, what are you going to do? Okay, so compassion over your life, you begin to think about the mercies of God. That's why, therefore, in view of God's mercies, let us then what's to God? By doing good. Trick God and tell him, baby, I love you no matter what you do. Papi's not mad at you. Mad is reserved for enemies. I get serious. And she looks at me. He's like, but Papi, don't get serious. He's like, no, I get serious. You're going to see me serious. But mad? I'm not mad. I'm mad at my enemies. I don't have any. But if I did, I'd be mad at them. Okay? I'm mad at evil and those that do evil. But my daughter, the one that has been given to me and that I choose in response to love with unfailing and unconditional love, no matter what you do, and that she's going to get closer to me as a daughter, from my perspective, because of obedience. I behave good for you. You are close to me because I say so. Oh, you want to feel good in my presence? Dude, don't behave. I just want to think about that when you say that. And I know what you mean, but man, words are powerful. I just want to get close to God this year. Oh, you're going to climb the ladder? What are you going to do? You're going to pull him down? I'm going to get close to God by remembering God's goodness, repenting of my sins again and again, and trusting in him. Yeah, cool. You're going to remember the closeness that you have to God, because with the word of God convicts. The word of God. So Romans is great. If you want to feel good and bad about yourself at the same time. It's a great book. One last thing, and then I'll let y'all go. Anything else that stuck out? I really liked this book. I'm surprised we were able to do it in just a month. I spent a year doing 8 chapters. So I heard somebody that I would not bet on other days that talked about how that was like a staple phrase in the Greek culture. I mean, in Hebrew Jewish culture, how to describe Jews. I mean, how to describe Gentiles. I'm jacking this up. Jewish people had a staple phrase, right, to diss Gentiles. And, right? Reuben comes up to me and says, bro, listen, man, I can't stand that guy, bro. That guy is lazy. He doesn't ever want to do nothing. Right? And I'm looking at you, and I'm seeing the pride just ooze out of you. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that guy sucks. He's like, yeah, bro, he's never on time. He's him up, right? And you're starting to taste blood, right? You're like, yeah, bro. Like you're starting to. ¿Qué le pasa a usted? Oh my goodness. Right, you're starting to taste blood, right? That's what he says. He said they hate their parents. They disobey. You know what? He doesn't only do that stuff, but he's trying to preach to everyone and say, no matter what they do, bro, just do whatever you want. Like it doesn't matter. Like, and then you're starting to get a little quiet. You're starting to be like, yo, like Joe just went off. Joe went like condemn them beyond what I even knew. Like he's starting to reveal secrets. And then I look at you and I say, hey, but okay, all that being true, but what about you? And so everything that you just judged leaves you without any grace, any recourse, like any resource. Like you're stuck. You just hammered someone like half to death. And they're there like, and then I say, okay. You're like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you think that God, just because you think, I don't accept what you want to do it, right? I know what you dream. I know what you want to do. I know what you wish you could do. I know you're just a coward. You didn't do it. And then the religious guy, he's like, yeah. And the law condemns everyone, Jews and Gentiles. Boro suave. This is by grace. And then the rest of the book opens up. But like I always like to picture it like that because again, Paul's by himself there writing this letter, bro, and ain't nobody around. He's just writing a letter in Corinth, right? He's upset at the church of Corinth, and everyone there is like it's worse than South Florida, on a Sunday night, like on a Saturday night, like in Corinth. So or any night really. So he's upset. I mean, I imagine, right? Maybe I'm adding too much, but if I could stretch my imagination a little bit, like he's in Corinth and he's writing this book, and yeah, it's easy to get upset at someone that sins differently than you, but when I start to call you out on your sin, you're like, whoa. Yeah, he doesn't hold back punches. But when someone, especially when preachers, because I've sat under preachers that all they know how to do was just wail, and I think I wanted to be. And it's like, what about when you were dishonest? Like, oh, you know what? Like, suave. No one should ever like cheat on their wives or cheat on their husbands. Like, let's talk about what you thought about, what you saw, what you let live in your heart. Oh no, but that's different. Paul's like, there's this idiot on Instagram that has a meme where the guy's driving, and then he says a series. Love you guys. I'm proud of y'all for sticking with it. I hope you have good notes. Starting a new series. I made a change. You don't know this. No one knows this. Through the many different the Lord, the myth, which is our summit. Okay, summit registration is open. I have 7 people that have registered online, which is like not bad considering how y'all sometimes do things. I want every single one of you register online. I want you guys to send that link to your friends so they can register. It's $15. Okay, that's going to get you a T-shirt, a booklet, and a Saturday night potluck style dinner in this room with all your friends. Not only that, we're bringing Chick-fil-A for one of the days. Okay, we're having homemade chicken sandwiches. We're having an ice cream bar one of those days. And listen, guys, I just go to Instagram. Bye, everyone on this stream there. Bye.